We've got a gavel now. We're ready to roll. Will the meeting please come to order? Brian, would you come up and give the invocation, please?
Would you pray with me? Loving God, you created us to experience community with you and with one another. And so today we thank you for community. We thank you for this community, for the blessings of life lived with one another at Lanier Village. As we experience your loving kindness toward us, we pray that we will always live in a spirit of loving kindness toward one another. May loving kindness be expressed today by this resident board in all its deliberations and decisions. We are grateful for their service among us, and may we follow their lead by serving one another each day in love. We pray also with gratitude for those who serve us on staff, our executive director and all team members who help us lead happy, healthy, and fulfilling lives in these our senior years. With gratitude, we pray these things in your holy name. Amen.
Madam Secretary, do we have a quorum?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay. You've all received the minutes of the February meeting. Are there any objections or corrections that anybody wishes to make? Yes.
Okay. I have a question about K4. The minutes are there. Are they printable from there? I tried. It says PDF file, and I can't get it to print.
Mm-hmm. It's not right.
That's it. I don't know. I haven't tried.
Oh, wait a
I'll
minute.
have an answer. Has anybody else tried? That's a good question. Stop the count.
Any other suggestions or comments? All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed? So ordered. Treasurer's report. Marie?
Good morning. We started the month with $36,975. We had woodshop dues come in at $120 and interest of $7. We bought a drum sander for $100, engraving of leaves $35, and large print books $553, leaving us a balance of $36,414. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Marie.
Okay, have a great day.
Okay, Executive Director's announcements. Scott is not here. Scott is actually out of town, and he's with his family today and tomorrow and the weekend. So I have asked him to give me his ask the director questions, the answers to them. And I've got 7 pages here, but I'm not going to cover all those. I'm going to just give you the highlights of some of the questions that were asked that I think apply to most of the people at LVE. Need to put on my glasses and read these. There's been a request to cut down on the movement of the motorized carts, mainly around the east building, at between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. And so Scott said will be talking to Stephen about that.
Talking about the staff that drives the four-wheelers.
Yeah, right, those jobs. They look like a big golf cart type thing, and they are loud. If you're on the side of east that faces OBT and Willowbrook, you can hear it pretty easily. Has LVE changed the physical requirements for independent living? And the answer is no, they're still the same. We do see people coming in, they're able to move with a motorized cart or with a rollator or walker, and that is considered acceptable for living in independent living.
And some of them are temporary. One lady came in a wheelchair and wasn't in a wheelchair for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. The free meal situation for guests seems to be needing some some clarification. If you miss 2 meals, you can bring 1 guest. If you miss 4 meals, you can bring 2 guests that month. They don't carry over. So if you have a spouse, you can have 4 guests at no additional cost. When will the dryer vents be cleaned in East? Well, the schedule is they're done on a monthly basis. The 6th floor should have been done in January. The 5th should have done in February, 4th in March, 3rd in April, 2nd floor in May, and the 1st floor in June. When can we expect the east parking lot to be remarked? It's in the capital plan for this year. Is it possible to have transmission towers at a reasonable size to get my cell phone to work? Well, I have been unable to. My cell phone works, fortunately, but if you don't have a cell phone reception in your apartment, try to hook up to the Wi-Fi. I cannot get radio reception in my apartment, but using the internet, I could get radio. So, this is a good one. I've been hearing this for years. What about the handrails on other floors? They're on the 2nd floor and the 4th floor in west. Pam said, somebody quoted her, they're saying they're going to be on all the floors. Well, that's not in the budget. How many more I got here? Just two more. Where does the scheduling stand for the relocated car wash and proposed charging stations? They're in the capital budget for the 1st quarter. And apparently, there's a regional team member who's in charge of that passed away unexpectedly last fall, so the project is a little bit behind schedule. Carving station on Sunday. Who knows when we have a carving station before it happens? Nobody. So they asked the question, how are we going to get to know? Well, apparently the culinary is going to be it's going to be posted on the link and in the weekly menu from now on, just to where that stands. Any questions? And while I'm here, I might as well make the Vice President remark. Brian stole nearly all my thoughts on that, or a lot of them. I want to thank those residents who are members of this board, and those members who are committee chairs, and those on the committees. It's been a tough year to get volunteers to do those jobs, and I think all of you realize that. But we are truly grateful that you all are willing to serve as Florida district reps, committee chairs, and on the committees. And I thank you all very much. I would like to also say the loving kindness bit, I would add a little bit to that. Maybe we ought to show a little more gratitude to each other and to the staff. I thank you. I notice in Mountain View, when I am with somebody for a meal in Mountain View, they nearly always are complimenting the culinary staff that serves them. And I think that is a great step and something that's really great to do. even if somebody just kind of passes you in the hall, speak to them, learn their names, call them by name. I'm impressed that the staff doesn't even look at your name tag sometimes, but they do call you by name most frequently. So that's something that is appreciated from the staff. We are fortunate that we have such a great staff. Two other things that cropped up in the Gainesville Times in the last week. For those of you who need the Social Security office that's down on Thompson Bridge Road, the government has announced that they're going to shut that down. So if you have any need for that, you might want to take a trip down there pretty soon and get that done. And Gainesville has been selected by an online publication as is the 5th best city in the state of Georgia to live, to retire. They base it on some things that don't really affect us, such as the cost of housing is used in that determination. But one of the reasons that I picked Gainesville is the medical care that's here. That was a major force in making our decision. For your information, the #1 city in the state of Georgia, according to this poll, I would pronounce it Albany, but I think they call it Albany. And Marietta is #2. And if they use housing costs, I don't know how they pick Marietta, but that's neither here nor there. And that's all I have. Any questions? Okey-doke. Carolyn, you've got some things you'd like to discuss.
Good morning, everyone. Gail, would you like to make a short announcement, please?
This is microphone 101 for the board. We all have to do this from time to time. If you notice, all 4 sections have a microphone in the middle. They are to be shared amongst the people in those little areas. A microphone is your friend. It lets people know what you're saying. That means you need to speak into it and not over it. See the difference? It really makes a big difference, especially since this is being recorded for the rest of the residents. In order to enjoy, they need to be able to hear all of your comments or questions and answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gail. She will be our audio tech from now on. My comments are very showing that gratitude and appreciation that Ches was talking about. Today, I thought we would take just a few seconds rather than my talking to start here and go around this board. This set of tables are the people who cast votes. You are the connection to the people on the floor. The committees are our connection between the board and administration. So there's 2 separate functions going. We have a PowerPoint that's being developed, and some of you from the committees have been asked to send a photo of your committee, and many of them have come in, but Carol Ann and Dick and Karen and Asden, next time you have your committee meeting, just kind of gather around and let somebody take a screenshot or a photo, send it to me, and we'll build it in so that we have, is this off?
It's on.
Okay, into it. So if you will, submit your photos before next meeting, and then we'll have a presentation for the committees. So if we can start with Scott, and y'all go around and tell your name, who you represent, and what's pertinent that you're concerned about with your constituency.
Am I active? I'm Scott Franklin. I represent Second Floor East, 41 residents. We're all happy.
I'm Straw the Randolph, and I'm proud to represent the 16 wonderful residents on 6 East. We're having our annual banquet at the veranda on April the 9th. And something you all don't know, but I make the best margaritas east of the Rio Grande. So we're talking about having maybe a Cinco de Mayo party also. And then we have several social functions during the year. But we're all happy, and we're a little family up there, and we welcome anybody anytime.
I'm Joan Smith. I represent First Floor West, and our next floor meeting will be Sunday, June 8th in the Bistro. And I have already got a reservation in December for our party in the veranda. Goals and concerns, I always try very well to keep the floor residents informed of everything that's going on. We have several that don't have computer ability or anything, so I just print it off and put it in their little box. Concerns, don't really have any. If they have any, they usually come to me. So it's almost like babysitting. But anyway, it's a great floor.
Frank Dorman from 5th Floor East, and we also have a great floor, but we have 27 people. We had a floor meeting party this past Sunday, and our next one's scheduled for June 9th in the veranda. And, you know, the folks just seem like they really like to get together, and we kind of enjoy each other.
I'm Robert Mills, First Floor East, I think. And we had our first of the year floor party a couple weeks ago, and we ate good.
I'm Peggy Gracie from 4th Floor East, 43 happy residents. We have decided at one point to have a floor dinner every single month. We eliminated July and December. We have not had people sign up to host every month, all the other months, but as soon as we do, and we've already had 3 this year. And we kind of count them as a floor meeting because we do have discussions and questions and all of that, but we have scheduled our veranda meeting for September. When I moved in to 4 East in August of last year, the first thing I was told was, come to wine every afternoon at 5 o'clock. We're the party floor. We come, certainly not every night. It's usually just the women, and some people will bring a glass of wine, some don't bring anything, but it was a great way for me to get questions answered about living in an apartment and in East. And it's a great way to find somebody who wants to go to dinner, and we do really enjoy that. Basically, I think everybody's healthy and happy. We get along well. We enjoy each other. The big concern we have right now is we would like some more tables and chairs on our floor, and I don't know the best way to go about doing that. We have to borrow tables and chairs from another floor every time we have a dinner. People have to go down and get them, have to bring them back. And when you talk about concerns, that's probably a small one, but that is one that we'd like to be able to figure out how to get some more tables and chairs in our activity room on 4 East. If anybody has any ideas. I have heard that maintenance will deliver tables and chairs when we need them. If they don't come get them, is that a way to go? I don't know, but anyway, that's one thing that's come up for us.
I'm Pat Guthrie. I'm the representative for 4th Floor West. We have 45 very happy residents. We don't have a meeting room on our floor, so we always meet in the bistro. We have 2 libraries and a mail room instead of a meeting room, which is wonderful. Our first gathering will be coming right up, March 26th in the veranda room. And I'd like to thank Culinary. They are going to serve a plated dinner for our floor meetings, instead of us getting up and going through the line, which for some of our residents will really make a big difference. And I appreciate that very much. But we have a fun floor. We have a great turnout every time. We just meet quarterly.
Ray Leach, and I represent 5th Floor West. I use the Resident Association Board guidelines and procedures for my guidance. I listen to my residents on my floor, and the only thing that I don't go by in the policies and procedures is item number 5, and that pertains to decorating. And we don't have a good floor. We've got the best floor.
I'm Judy Lee. I represent 3rd Floor West. I would say that we just had our first quarterly meeting last Sunday night. We had Chad Whitehead speak to our group. And previous to that, I had Aaron come and talk to us about security. So if you haven't considered inviting the directors for a 10 to 15 minute presentation, we asked them to tell us something about personal, something about their lives, and then go into their duties and responsibilities. And it helps you feel closer to the directors, that you can approach them anytime with your concerns. So I would strongly encourage you to do that. We have a better floor than 5th, just had to say that. And we have 39 people. We have one who has a vision problem, so I always print things for him and slip them under his door. But everyone else, I think, is doing well, and we just check on each other and make sure we're all healthy and in good spirits.
Hi, I'm Lynn Sharp. I don't like microphones, but I'm on 2nd Floor East, and I beg to differ. We have the best floor. I was told so soon as we moved there, so what can I say? But we're a very congenial group. We cut back from monthly meetings to every other month, which everyone is much happier with. And everything's going well. They're very prolific and ask the director questions, making suggestions to me. And very thankful that we have that process, because they feel like it's really getting them involved. And our next meeting will be in April 6th.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Barbara Roper, and I'm on 6th Floor West, and we too have a fabulous floor. We have had our first party and meeting in February, which we do a champagne Valentine party. And this is our 3rd year of doing this, and it's very popular. I kind of talked to some residents and found out if they had concerns. And one person said that they had been to Matthews Glen, and that when they redo the apartments for rehab, that they replace their leaky old windows with new energy windows, and that it helps the cold air come in. So I thought I'd just pass along that idea. And that's all I have to say.
Is this on?
Yeah, they're all on.
Can you hear me?
Give it about 2 seconds.
1, 2. Okay.
Hold on, no. Use it.
Am I good now?
Yes.
There we go. Okay, I'm Tom Dyerly. In case you don't know me, I am representing the great district of Cottages West. 31 cottages, 55 people, give or take. A lot of changes going on in our cottages, and we've already had one meeting. We have the second one scheduled for the 27th of this month. I had to do some wrangling to get them to fit us into veranda. They kept sending me these are the floor meeting procedures, and I said, we're not a floor. We're So anyway, so we're doing that on the 27th. And when I took over this job, which was just recently this year. And I vowed that I'll do it, but I want to get us in West Cottages the recognition and the services that we deserve and pay for. And that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
I'm Linda Askew, and I represent the 31 cottages in East. We're the new people here. We have melded into a great neighborhood. We care about each other. We try to keep up with what's going on. So we have our meeting in the veranda scheduled for May, and we're looking forward to that. The things we are particularly happy about, we love our new pine straw. They did a great job getting our pine straw, and it makes a big difference. Looks very nice. Concerns, of course, are the irrigation, which we will see when they turn it on, if it can be brought up to working order or not. That's yet to be determined. The other thing we're concerned about is there have been some problems with some cabinets in our cottages. And so Stephen and Scott and the cabinet people are coming around to each cottage to see what the status is. There was, in one cottage, a cabinet spontaneously fell off the wall. So they are checking all of them and are developing a plan to do whatever needs to be done to secure those. So other than that, we're happy as can be.
Thank you. I want to circle back around to Peggy's request, and I don't know how we handle this, but they're having to go to another floor to get tables for their events, and we don't need to be hauling tables. So how many do you need? 4?
We usually need probably 3 tables and 6 chairs.
So who's in charge of that?
Well, maintenance is usually in charge, and why don't we talk after the meeting and see what we can do about your situation. The problem with your taking them, and in the past, now the floor says, I'm looking for my tables, and so they go to the 4th floor and they find them.
When we borrow them, we return them.
I know you all are.
We get them one day,
So,
return them after dinner the next day.
but occasionally, in the past, tables disappear, and you never know. I mean, if you look under some of these tables, it might say 4th floor east on them. So you.
Well, everybody look at your tables, and if you've got 4th floor east, bring them back.
Yeah.
Did you originally have your own tables?
We do have tables, we just don't have enough.
Okay, so that's another issue.
Yeah,
is
don't
enough.
think they've ever had enough. For
So when it comes time to have your parties, are you residents physically going and getting the tables?
I did hear the other day that maintenance would bring us tables if we asked, and I had not known that.
Okay.
I don't know what happens after we use them, does maintenance come back and get them?
They pick them up, just put in a work order.
Okay,
But we don't always know until the last minute how many tables we're gonna need. I don't know how much time maintenance.
okay, this is where this communication is gonna help. Mr. Herb Paul, Maintenance and Safety. If you, committee people, Carol Ann, you heard irrigation question. When you have your committee meetings, reiterate to staff and management what you heard in resident association board meeting, and see if you can come back next month with a reply to Linda, and if we can get, you don't need to be hauling tables. You don't
We
really,
have 4 men that we can call on, and usually 2 of them, but they're not always available. One day it was a resident's son-in-law happened to be here, but he did it for
okay. You and Ches get together after. Yes, Pat?
I have a question. Our floor meetings are in the bistro on Sunday evening, and I've been told there's no maintenance to give us help, and we can't move it ahead of time because you want to leave the bistro the way it needs to be. And so we have to, at the last minute, make the changes and then return it to its regular order. Is there any way to get help on Sunday?
Judy Lee, culinary.
That's a maintenance issue, and maintenance is not here on Sunday. We have the same problem. We go down about 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon and move tables and chairs, and after the meeting is over, we move them back. There is no help available other than maybe the men on your floor.
That give you the answer you needed? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Carolyn.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. We're ready for committee reports, bylaws. C.W. Marlowe.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm C.W. Marlowe, Bylaw Committee Chair, and I'm glad to be here this morning. I would like to challenge Strava on margarita making. Purpose of the Bylaw Committee, as stated in the bylaws, is responsible for the coordination, preparation, and dissemination of proposed amendments to the Residents Association procedures. The Bylaws Committee shall review the bylaws annually to ensure they adequately address the needs of the community. And the Bylaw Committee has met and has reviewed the first 4 articles of the 11. There are 11 articles in the bylaws, and we've so far reviewed the first 4 of those, and we've corrected typos. We've had incomplete words that we've completed, and structure statement. We've looked over the statements and restructured some of those. We have one recommendation, and the Bylaw Committee doesn't make a report until October board meeting. We make a report October board meeting of any amendments to the bylaws that we are proposing, and we will have one in October that we will make, and that is to increase the nominating committee membership from 5 to 6 members, and we'll have a representative from both the East and West cottage homes on that. Our next meeting is going to be April the 16th, and are there any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, C.W. Culinary, Judy Lee.
Good morning. Chad talked with us at our meeting on March the 5th about February and March events. 308 residents enjoyed the Valentine's Day dinner. The mixer in the clubhouse before dinner was very popular, so we may team with Vicki Doherty and do something like that again. Special dinner is planned for St. Patrick's Day, and the recent breakfast for dinner was very successful. Chad's working with a new bakery in Norcross, Crown Bakery, to set them up as a vendor for their scones and muffins. So we just need to be sure that they are able to meet our demands. Locks have been placed on the temperature gauges in the bistro and Mountain View to ensure more consistent temperatures in those areas and, as we say, eliminate the human variable. Catering prices have been updated for this year based on labor and market pricing. Linda Carter handles your catering needs, so if you have an event, please talk to Linda about it. Outside caterers can be used, but they cannot be used in conjunction with LVE catering due to liability issues. We're filming the kitchen tour this month for resident viewing. Linda Carter's also elevating the atmosphere in Sydney's with table lamps and soft background music. She and Daryl are going to be pulling the comment cards twice a week, and they will be returning calls to any resident that has asked for a callback. Daryl is still looking for day shift workers, And just so you know, we do conduct exit interviews with employees that resign, just so we know what's going on and if there are any problems we need to address. Scott shared with us that Chad will be going to Matthews Glen for additional professional development. And I think if you attended the meeting this past week, you heard that in the 2024 resident survey, culinary improved in 22 areas, but we still have growth potential, and we're working on that. We appreciate your patience and your guidance. Preparations for the renovation of Mountain View will not take place. Well, the preparations are taking place this year. We're meeting on those plans, but you won't see any construction until next year. We had a request from online phone ordering for pickup of meals by the carriage home residents, and we are working on a process to put this in place, and we appreciate the idea that came in on that. Chad's also working with corporate IT to have information on each day's menu available on K4, not just all the items you can access, but the actual menu for that day. And then the committee is working on a redraft of culinary comment cards, and we'll be considering that at our April meeting, which is April the 2nd, and I would like to invite you all to attend. We do ask for comments from guests, and we enjoy receiving those. Any questions? Thank you.
Pam Ellis for housekeeping.
Hi, we had our last housekeeping committee meeting on Tuesday, February the 25th, and the whole group was in attendance, as well as Shanda, Lupe, and Manuel. And I wanted to kind of, because I keep running into lots of people that don't understand the organization of environmental services and housekeeping, I wanted to just quickly review that. Environmental services is kind of the overview name, and housekeeping is under that. Shanda's title is Director of Environmental Services. So as you all probably know, she helps with move-ins, parking, that kind of, and a lot of other things, as well as housekeeping. Lupe's title is Housekeeping Supervisor, and Manuel's title is Lead Housekeeper. And they all are very forward-thinking and trying to make things better here. One hint that came up during our meeting is that all residents are welcome to participate, or it's very helpful for the housekeeping staff if we all participate in noticing the common areas. Because our housekeeping staff not only cleans our individual apartments, but they're responsible for everything inside the building. So for instance, we had somebody at the last meeting that said they noticed spider webs. Happened to be on the outside of a window, but at the end of a hall. And it was a window that housekeeping could pull the window in and clean it. Anything that has to happen on the outside of the building is usually maintenance. The team is always being trained, and they focused this last month on area rugs, because there had been quite a bit of feedback that people didn't feel like their area rugs were being picked up and cleaned underneath. And so that training is taking place. If you notice that that's not happening in your apartment, if it's in the bathroom or the living room or the kitchen, they are supposed to pick up the area rug, clean underneath, put it back down, and also clean the rug. If it's a long rug, like a runner, they're supposed to pick up half of it and then clean the other half. And this is a really good time for me to remind everybody that feedback to Lupe and to Shanda and to Manuel is welcome and wanted. You know, I can't tell you the number of times that people have come to me with a complaint. And I say, email Lupe, she wants to know. And they can, you know, it's a training issue. And people say, I don't want to complain. And, you know, it's, I want to say, you are to me, you know, but it's really welcome feedback. It's just like the feedback for culinary. If the food's cold, the staff wants to know. And it's the same with housekeeping. We want to know. Ongoing training includes sanitary and safety training at all times. We also discovered that a lot of people, especially new people, are not aware of the special services that are offered on a fee-for-service basis. You guys in here probably already all know, but there is a binder in the communication room where you can ask for spot cleaning of carpets, almost anything, any other cleaning that's not included in your biweekly on a fee-for-service basis, and it's an hourly fee. But you just put that in there, and somebody from, usually Manuel, will contact you. You can also, when you have feedback or you need something, you have some kind of feedback about something that happened, or you need something taken care of in the apartment, you can put in a work order on the portal. But be sure, if it goes in just under maintenance, they can't see it. Housekeeping can't see it. So there's another button that says maintenance-housekeeping. So be sure that it goes in under that. Or emailing Lupe is a great way of communicating with her. Okay. Also, I discovered that people don't know that clearing your countertops in your kitchen, the more you can clear them off, the better they're going to get cleaned. You know, I mean, I put stuff in my oven, you know, so you have to remember to get it out. But yeah, I don't use my oven, so. But same with the bathroom. If you just clear off that bathroom counter, and they can really get that clean. And then we had a hint from a resident that helped several other residents. She was having trouble making her bed, and she said, if you had a bed that raises, she raises both ends, puts the bottom sheet on it, and puts it down. So that's the last of my hints for today. Our next meeting is March 25th, Tuesday we meet at 1:30 in the meeting room right over here, and everybody is welcome to attend with comments, questions, whatever. Any questions?
Pam, you mentioned about complaints. It's also nice to compliment your housekeeping crew.
Yes.
Most of them do a great job, and if you come in when they finish or you see them in the hall, it's always nice to give them a little pat on the back and to thank them.
Thank you for that, Strother. Yes. Okay.
Carol Ann Armstrong, landscaping.
Good morning. I'm very happy to say that landscape management has really been on top of things. At the beginning of February, this place looked a mess. Things had not been cut back. They got everything cut back. They put out the pine straw. They are trying to please. they had taken the agenda from the time I sent it out until the meeting and walked around and looked at things that were on it. So they had an answer at the meeting. So I'm very encouraged with how they are doing. The memory garden, we still have an issue that it is not rollator friendly, but they are working on that. I don't know that that can be solved, but I've had a number of complaints about that. The fountain in the memory garden, of course, is broken, but Stephen is hoping to have a proposal at the April meeting for redoing that fountain. The train garden has been cleaned up. We have hopefully solved the bird food issue. We were having nothing but weeds over there from the bird seed, but we have changed the kind of feed, and so I hope that will not be an issue. And Stephen says that the fountain is going to be repaired by April the 1st. And the benches, there are some old benches over there that have plaques on them, but he has some new benches, and the plaques will be moved to the new benches. And supposedly, by the time it's really nice for the residents to go out, it will be in good shape. There are a number of empty places that need shrubs, but we're waiting to see what's coming back before we do anything about that. The irrigation on Mountain View, where those dead trees were removed, will not be installed till fall, and the new trees will be planted after the irrigation. The erosion problems on several of the sidewalks are being addressed, and one of the things Stephen wanted to do is to put lights along the path from the east to Retired Treasures, and he has done that. So the next step, some of these problems, maybe we can put grass on them, but that remains to be seen. The landscape maintenance shed is supposed to be planted around this month. I hope that happens. The landscaping plan below the wall of the bistro is going to be presented at our April meeting. That area where the junipers are about this high with only green on the end. We have emphasized the policy for ground floor apartments, and I think you saw that in the link sometime this week. We had a number of pruning issues, and the fertilization schedule will begin in March. And they have agreed, generally green, healthy shrubs are not fertilized, but there are a lot of shrubs that took a hit this winter, and they said they would fertilize those that are cold damaged. The West Cottages have some issues, and Joey is trying to address some of those. And as far as irrigation, we never have a meeting where it is not mentioned. And I've been on the landscape committee for years. I was here when they did the sidewalks, and that tore up the irrigation, and it's never been the same since. And I don't know when it's going to be turned on. But Stephen is very optimistic that it's going to work. So I'm going to remain optimistic until I'm convinced otherwise. And anybody that has irrigation, an outlet in their yard that's not working, be sure to email. Chess says he has one that hasn't worked, but there's no way for them to know without our input, because it all runs at different times of the day and you can't be everywhere at all times. So I'm going to remain optimistic about it until we have issues. Are there any questions? Yes?
I have no problems walking at all, but when I go through the memory garden, you can slip. Those rocks, you know, are movable, and it's extremely difficult to walk through there.
We are aware of that, and that's what we're going to see if there is a solution to that. And Joey was going to look into that. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Carol Ann. Dick Bergen, legislative issues.
Good morning. I'm Dick Bergen. I have recently become the chairman of the Legislative Issues Committee. Larry Jewett became the victim of the gravity here recently, and so he's unfortunately not going to be able to serve out, but he's doing well, and he's serving on the committee this year. But anyway, we have a program coming up in March 24th. We will have a meeting with our county commissioner. I found out this morning that apparently the presentation that our county commissioner is going to give to us, our committee is also going to be giving a presentation tomorrow morning to the Friday morning coffee. So anyway, we probably need to coordinate that a little bit better so we don't have to repeat, but we'll have a much smaller group, so if tomorrow leaves you with any questions, you can come back and see the same presentation by the county commissioner on March 24th, Monday at 10:30, and not have to get up so early. So anyway, many of you, I come here and I get myself disappointed in myself, and that I don't know many people here. And not many of you all, I assume, know me either. And that's my fault, because I don't get here. I reside in a domain here of Tom Dyerly here, and so I'm an outlier. And by the way, Tom, I've got a problem if you could solve for me, that I've got a deer problem in my backyard. Now, you guys in the cottages don't understand, I mean, in the apartments don't understand that. But the deer have eaten all of my plants in the back. And every spring they multiply, and so now there's about 6 of them that even bed in our backyard. So, I mean, it's become a nuisance. So anyway, would you take care of that for me, Tom? I'd appreciate that.
We can have venison at the dinner.
Anyway, my name is Dick Bergen. I've been here for over 9 years. I have served as chairman of this committee 4 different times. I've been your vice president and president of your residents association. And so I've been around here. I'm disappointed that there's not more people. You can, if you come here, you can ask questions, you can learn a lot, and not be a passive observer on Channel 900. So anyway, we had a meeting in February, and we discussed our programs for this year. Our committee doesn't discuss politics. We have Republicans, we have Democrats, and we don't talk politics. We try to look at issues that are primarily local, But we have invited our U.S. representative to come sometime this summer. We're working out a schedule to see if he'll come. We'll have that meeting in the auditorium. We're probably going to have Martha Zoller. If you all have lived in Gainesville a long time, you know Martha Zoller. In fact, she's on our wait list here. You may not know that, her and her husband. And she's a political commentator at WDUN, but she's been everything in Gainesville, and she's been on CNN and, you know, Fox News and everything else. And she's got very great knowledge of local politics and state politics. We tend to invite the sheriff back. We've had the sheriff here a number of times. We've had the DOT come and talk to our committee. We get involved in issues regarding zoning, and we've had some zoning success here. If you've been here a while, you may know that there was going to be a car wash next to us, and we made sure that didn't happen. There was going to be a 3-story warehouse, self-service warehouse there. We made it a 2-story. It was going to be quite a bit different things that were going on where the new Publix is going to be. We're going to try to have the Publix people here if we can and talk about what's going to be in the outbuildings. We know Publix is coming, but Publix has been very quiet about what's going on in the restaurants and the medical building and the other buildings that'll be there. And so we're going to try to get them to open up a little bit to us if we can and learn a little bit about that. But if you have any other questions, again, we'd like to see you. We have a small committee, but we'd like to see more active involvement. That would be great. So any other questions?
Thank you, Dick.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Karen Harden is the chair of Life Engagement, but she's a little bit under the weather today, and I don't think there's anybody here who's going to report for her. So let's go on to Herb Paul, Maintenance and Safety.
The Maintenance Safety Committee meets every month, the first Thursday of the month. So if you have time, come in and enter our committee and provide any information that you may have. I have 4 or 5 items that I'd like to address this morning. The spraying of the overhead parking area in East was completed about 6 months ago. The west parking area should be accomplished in March. So within the next 2 weeks, it should be accomplished. Then that will be not only the overhead parking, but also the pavement area under the overhead parking. And like I say, that should happen in March. The moving of the car wash from the area over there by the dumpster, main dumpster, to the area down by the walk going down to the boat ramp. This has been in the mill for about 5 or 6 months, and the project should be funded this coming week. So as soon as it's funded, then it should take off. They have already received some of the funding portions of that project, so it should take place fairly quickly. We have had problems with broken glass on the walkway going from west to the loading dock area, and the dumpster that is currently being used was reworked and did improve the problems we were having with broken glass on the sidewalk. This project should be funded within the next week or 2. So the new project will require a sealed dumpster. So that should take care of the broken glass problem. The next item I'd like to mention is you will recall that in April we had a fire alarm in West. And as a result of that, many of the concerns of the residents and the fire department were raised. The fire department, Stephen and Axe have all been working on redoing the evacuation plan. Stephen recently had a phone call with the fire department to kind of seal up the things that were still kind of at odds. The final review should take place in March. As soon as that takes place and Axe has approved it, then there will be a drill, a fire drill. So within the next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, we should have a fire drill, which would give us an opportunity to see if the revisions really helped. The fire department makes a review of the building once a year, and a week ago they came in and went around the building and spent a lot of time in the building. This is the first time that they have ever done that and found no things that needed to be corrected. So that speaks well for the existing maintenance team. Are there any questions or concerns? Yes.
I was just wondering if we have anybody on staff that oversees the maintenance, repairs, or improvements that is knowledgeable about ADA compliance, and if they check on ADA compliance on things that are being done and being built?
Well, internally in the maintenance area, they do that, obviously. But we don't have anybody in the community, if that's what you're asking.
No, I was asking if anybody in the maintenance department is knowledgeable about ADA compliance, because
Yes.
there are a number.
Stephen is pretty knowledgeable.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have one question. I noticed in the report from months back that the same things keep coming up. The elevators have all been reviewed, correct?
They have all been checked for their annual review that should have taken place in October.
Okay.
And took
Have they
place.
updated the certificates in the elevators themselves?
They have, yes. Yeah, they have the new date, the last annual date on the elevator in that little cubby hole right there. Sure.
Thanks for reminding me, elevators. The one in East, the individual elevator in East, has been having some issues, making very strange noises and all. And they had somebody on campus with the elevator company that worked on it, supposedly, the other day. And it was fine, but 2 hours later, when I went out, take my dog out, and I came back in and tried to go up from first floor to second, it stopped between the 2 floors. And it was not a long stop, but it did stop, and then it jerked, and then it continued up to second. When I spoke to Julia about it the next morning, after I'd already put something online on it, about it, she said they had ridden on that elevator up and down several times. Maintenance had done that, and they were going to monitor it. They didn't find a problem. They're going to monitor it. So that's a concern.
Okay. I will check with Stephen on that. I agree. And I would just encourage anybody if something like that happens when you're in an elevator, please let somebody know, because it ain't gonna happen unless somebody gets the word. Anything else? Okay, our next meeting will be the first Thursday in April.
Thank you, Herb. Appreciate it. Memorials, Asden Johnson.
Good morning. Since there are so many new folks coming in each year, we thought we would do a short review of what the Memorials Committee does. Just want to remind you that we have 3 different ways that you can remember someone, a loved one, or honor someone. The Grove of Remembrance is the one that's out here, right outside the auditorium, and you can buy a leaf in memory of a loved one. Also, you can purchase those, family or friends. It has to be someone who has lived here at LVE. We also have the memorial benches that can be given in honor of someone who has lived here or in memory of someone who has lived here. And then we are slowly trying to replace the wooden benches with the new metal benches. Lastly, we are blessed with the Memory Lane Gardens, which was established by residents. And this fund can be used to honor or remember a family member or friend with a donation of any amount. Our brochures, I have given everybody a brochure, so if you can kind of remind everybody when you have your group meetings of these 3 areas that you can do, I'd appreciate that. Yearly, we hold a dedication of the names that have been added to our Grove of Remembrance. And we usually do it in March, but we only had a town hall meeting. So this year we'll do it in April at the Forum. And I have cleared that with everyone. Our committee is comprised of Anna Gines, Carol Ann Armstrong, Carolyn Engel, Dot Perkle, and Ann LeGruer, and they're all from East. Marie Oakes and Vida Anderson, and I have just asked Jack Deegan if he would serve, and he said yes, so they're all from West Apartments. Karen Hickman and Lydia Ferguson are from the East Cottages. Carol Brown and myself are from the West Cottages. So if you have any questions, you might want to ask them. And our applications for the various memorials are in the communications room. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you, Asden. Special projects, Don Langen.
Good morning. I'm actually going to be talking about retired treasurers and special projects. They're both organizations under the banner of LVE, Retired Treasurers Incorporated, the nonprofit. I say this all the time, but Retired Treasurers is having another banner year. First 2 months, sales have totaled $11,200. The climax of February was the fashion show, and kudos to Caroline Mixon for all the work she did on that. It was really a good show.
It was a great show.
It was. And to, of course, to Ann Damon, the general manager of Retired Treasurers. But a special thanks to Cheryl Lobaugh for all the homemade goodies she had. All income from Retired Treasurers goes to projects here at LVE. And that's where special projects comes in. And I just have to thank the our original residents who had the foresight to set this up. Lanier Village is unique in that all the money goes to fund projects here. It doesn't go to the Samaritan Fund or other charities or whatever. And since 2006, we've funded $450,000 in projects here at LVE. We're hoping to hit the $500,000 mark by the end of the year, but we need help from everyone here. We need ideas. We need come up with ideas that we can spend some money on. Tables, yeah. Special Projects will be holding their next meeting on Thursday, April 17th. The deadline for submitting requests for funding forms is Friday, April 11th. And if you have an idea but don't know quite how to put it all together, just contact one of the committee members. We'd be thrilled to help you. So this is a good time to tell you who's on the committee. I'm the chair. Linda Askew right here is the vice chair. Dee Hammonds, Donna Wood, Karen Hickman is the representative from Retired Treasurer's Shop, Kitty Marlowe. We have two new members, Kevin Guidry and Strother Randolph. And then we have two ex officio members who are members of the committee as long as they're in the position that they're in now. And that's our executive director, Scott Cairns, and Augie DeAugustinis, who's president of the nonprofit corporation. At our January meeting, funding was provided for a portable TV camera for the AV staff. It was felt that the AV staff could do the installation themselves. Well, problems turned up, and we needed some additional equipment and some additional technical expertise. So the committee approved an additional $894 for the AV staff. And that camera should be in operation next week. That camera can be used here in the auditorium, in the chapel, meeting room down the hall, and possibly even down in the reservation side of the dining room. That's something we'll have to test out and see if it works. That's about all I have. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Don. Campus improvement, Karen Cannon.
Good morning, everyone. During the last month, the Campus Improvement Committee has graciously received 3 beautiful tables. One table was placed on 4th floor lobby, and then another resident has shared her beautiful art, one of which is over this table. We also received 2 demi-lume tables that are outside of the puzzle room, and that was a donation from a resident. And we purchased, thanks to Special Projects, 2 beautiful Amari plates to put out there, and some beautiful brass candlesticks were also donated that we put there. So thanks to a lot of people donating beautiful things, we're beginning to change some things around here. Also, we had some representatives from each of the floors from Independent Living. They were invited to view and select some artwork, that some of which was donated to Retired Treasurers and some of which we had in LVE storage. and several of the floors had picked different pieces of art and have upgraded each floor as they would like. Various seating areas, such as outside the chapel, outside Mountain View Reservation, and outside the fitness center, have been kind of relocated, and new upholstering, and those items will come in this afternoon, and they'll be placed out this afternoon. Also, a beautiful sideboard was donated by a resident from a cottage moving over, and it's in the Mountain View Reservation area. Next week, our committee will meet and we'll take down the winter-looking items, and spring will come out. So our committee will meet, and at that time, Caroline will have our picture made, so to send to you. So I hope you are enjoying the items that are being upgraded. I appreciate that. One question we have is these 4 plants over here that have lights in them, we cannot find the remotes to, so it's hard to turn them on. We did find the remote that will turn them on, but it won't turn them off. So if anybody knows where the remotes are to these lighted trees, we would greatly appreciate it letting us know, or let Kitty Marlowe know. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Good Samaritan Fund, Brian McCarty.
Well, hello, I am Brian McCartney, a member of the Samaritan Fund Committee, and I'm here giving this report on the behalf of our chair, Jimmy Faulkner. I think everybody here understands the purpose of the Samaritan Fund. We exist to be able to help provide for residents who outlive their financial resources through no fault of their own. Many of us give to this fund to help a few, but I think it's important for all of us to remember that at any point of our lives, we might face that same situation. And so all of us as members of our committee support this fund, and we certainly encourage each resident to support the fund in some way as well. Now, good news, we are fast approaching the date of our annual Samaritan Fund Brunch. It will be held on Saturday, April the 26th, 9:30 to 11 a.m. in the Mountain View Dining Room for the first 160 residents who purchase tickets. The price is going to remain at $30 this year, the same as last year, and will include filet, frittata, and your favorite, mimosas. Tickets will be sold April 14, 15, and 16 outside the bistro during lunch and dinner, and outside Mountain View Dining Room at dinner. Those 3 days, when the tickets are sold out, they are sold out, so don't delay and don't miss out. One other thing I want to mention is there is another exciting fundraising event for the Samaritan Fund that is in the works, and I know that Jimmy Faulkner will be sharing that information at the appropriate time. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Well, that concludes the committee reports. Thank everybody for jobs well done. The committees sound like they are very active and involved in all areas. Do you have a question, Strother?
I'd like to have the nominating committee meet with me for about 30 seconds right over here after the meeting. I hope you know who you are, because I don't necessarily remember. I see. Anyway, just meet it for about 30 seconds over the nominating committee.
Good. Any new, yes?
Yes,
Mark,
Jess, I'd like to reiterate to everybody, especially those that aren't here, Caroline Mixon does a tremendous job of disseminating information from these meetings. Not only is it found electronically, but there are printed copies in both libraries. in a pretty timely manner, and we do appreciate that, Caroline. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Any other new business from anybody?
I have one thing.
Okay.
We did receive a video of the fashion show. So those who were not able to attend, I've already watched it 3 or 4 times. In the minutes that I post on Monday, I will have the link to that YouTube presentation, so it'll be always available in the minutes. And this meeting, John Ross posts it usually within 24 hours on YouTube, so any of your residents who were not able to come to this august meeting, it is always recorded, and it's great to relive it and watch it and see yourselves and think, oh my gosh, my hair was sticking up. K4, everybody still up to speed with that? Check your residents. If you've got a cell phone, you can get K4. Any place you have an app, you can have K4. They're still working on the refinements of it, but that should be new business next month. Thank you, Chess.
Thank you. Any other business? Move we adjourn. Anybody? All in favor?